Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and the September is nearly over, so I thought I'm going to jump on and do a little catch up. I haven't been on for a while. I've been only putting up the reviews videos. I know for some people it's boring as hell, sometimes for me too, but I am a review channel, so boo. That's how it is. Still though, I do have some other stuff to share when I feel like it, and recently unfortunately I don't feel like it very often, so I take it as it is. I've been on YouTube for a long time, and sometimes I just give myself permission to feel bored and not to feel like putting the videos out, and that's okay. So anyway, I thought I'm just going to touch base and share with you two things. One, what I got into and what I find really interesting right now. So you know that I'm an astrologer. I started learning astrology in 2005, so it's been 17 years of my astrology journey. For the first 5 to 7 years I studied like really intensely. I finished courses, I studied, I went to astrology conferences, like my whole life was astrology. Then I had a little like break after I started working with people. I just, it was so much integration that needed to be done, and I think we as humans, we don't give ourselves permission often to just integrate things and take breaks and follow our own rhythm. Like nobody has to do things exactly the same way as other people. We all different, we all have different build up, we have different cycles, different rhythms, and the older I get, the nicer it is for me to actually follow my own shit and be okay with it. So with astrology, I've been doing it since 2005, and I think it's one of those disciplines which, just teaches me that you never ever stop learning. It's always exciting, it's always something new. It never gets like, stiff and boring. It's ever evolving like humans. And recently I started, I did a course about asteroids. And the asteroids have been around since 1800s, so it's not a new thing. But nowadays, when we have access to technology, we also know that there's like thousands of asteroids, and there's all these different names for asteroids. If you have certain astrological programs like Solar Fire, for example, you can always cast like a list of asteroids and check, what asteroids are close or more personal to you, and that how you look for it is which asteroid, for example, is in any aspect to your planets, and the degrees that you look for, they have to be really tight because there's thousands of asteroids. So if you leave a degree like 4, 5, 10 degrees, you will have hundreds of asteroids in the same spot. So we want to avoid this and just look for asteroids that are really tight, so like either conjuncting your sun or sitting really close to any of the other planets or angles. Anyway, that's maybe a bit of an astrological journal. There's one book on asteroids, as far as I know, by Dimitra George. She's been studying asteroids since 1970s, and this particular book is great if you want to just get an insight into asteroid work. But she speaks mostly about the 4 main asteroids, which is Pallas, Athena, Juno, which is Juno, Vesta, and Ceres. Pallas, Athena, Juno, Vesta, and Ceres. There is mention of a couple of other asteroids, and there's also some ephemeris at the end of the book, but that's basically the 4 big ones that are described in this book. Otherwise, if you want to learn about asteroids, you just have to do a lot of self-study and a lot of digging into mythology and all these different weird names, names. to search for a symbolic meaning of what the asteroid can mean in your life, but sometimes it's just really spooky. And if you're interested in asteroids, I advise you to look for Dimitra George's 2 talks that are available on YouTube. I might link them below, but if not, Google is your friend. Dimitra George, she has 2 fascinating talks on YouTube when she describes and tells a story about how personalized asteroids get. So she, for example, gives a roundup of Prince Charles, Camilla, and Lady Di, and how the asteroids, which are named like them, played out in their charts. And actually Dimitra said something which really makes me think, and when something starts like making you think, you kind of go, okay, like it's kind of takes you into these waves of, what do I think about it? I think this right now. In a month time you might like, what about this? So I'm in the process. But basically what she said is that she thinks, based on the work with asteroids, that we are much more fated than we think we are. And by the way that astrology works, and I have no doubt that astrology works, no matter what system you choose, it just works. And I have like countless, thousands of clients to prove it over the years. And there are so many other astrologers that would say the same. And it can be the Eastern astrology, Western astrology, it really doesn't matter. It just works. If you stick to a system, it will work for you. And I think the asteroids just add another layer to what I have been learning and what I, how I use astrology. And it was interesting when you read this book also, she says that, it's fascinating that the planets mostly, except for Venus and maybe Moon, they kind of mostly named like males. They have male names, but asteroids started being named like feminine, and they give this female names and give this aspect of feminine receptivity and just open up the world to the feminine qualities. So that's quite fascinating, I think, in astrology as well, which was mostly patriarchal in some way. So it's just a fascinating subject, and I've been like inspired at the same time, just reading a lot, researching, finding stuff online. I had a first client. I won't say the name, but she was the client that I lost my asteroid virginity to. We were laughing about it because I started adding actually some asteroids for the life purpose or life path readings that I'm offering as an astrology session and tarot and oracle sessions. And it was amazing. I have actually a special now for the live sessions, because I would prefer to do that live than the recorded version, because it's still new for me and I can verify straight away with a client, when we talk on Zoom online, but we live. And I enjoy this type of work. I think it gives me more energy than the recording. So maybe in nearest future, I will be changing that as well and just shifting to only live Zoom meetings. But for now, if you're interested, if you ever thought about getting an astrology reading, please sign up. I usually a little bit more expensive. I have a special going on, so you can check on my website www.tarotmap.com. It's a live path reading, and it's the live version, not the recorded version. And I want to practice live, because I want to add those asteroids, and I want to ask and have a conversation about how they influence your life, my ideas about how they could, your ideas about how they did or how they are. And it's really an interesting way of creating a little bit more even space around ourselves and getting to know ourselves a little bit better. So this was is my main love right now. Back to studying, back to learning, back to incorporating these different aspects. And I just there is so many different asteroids, okay, but For example, the asteroids that are very prominent, which sit very close to like your moon, your sun, your ascendant, and so on. There is lists of them, okay? There's a lot of them. But if I look at my ones that are, for example, like 000 degrees, so for example, Camelot sits on my north node on 000 degrees. I have Hecate on my moon by 1 degree. I've got Abundancia, which is the, abundance, conjoining my Chiron and my vocation point. I've got Kali on my Uranus. I've got Lilith on my Uranus. There's all these different names, and there's heaps of them, like really, really heaps, and very interesting when you know mythology, or a great way to also expand your knowledge on mythology. And the other thing that I wanted to show you is the Slavic Oracle deck. And I think I'm going to change actually the camera in a sec and share with you this deck, because it's an interesting one, especially for people who are Slavic like myself. It's by Aniel Reed and illustrated by Cindy Monroy. And I'm not sure if Aniel Reed, because the question came up if this is by Magic and Mediums. Aniel is black, and I'm not sure if she has Slavic connections. She can have Slavic connections. I know for sure that her husband has Slavic, or partner has Slavic connections, and they decided to create this oracle, the Slavic Oracle deck. And to be honest, I don't know how other people feel about it, and to be honest, I don't care how other people feel about it. I'm Slavic, and I'm excited that somebody decided to do a Slavic oracle. For me, they don't need to be Slavic. I'm happy to see that someone felt inspired by Slavic culture, and that they dug in and, introduced a little bit of Slavic culture into this world of oracles and cards. And the booklet of this, it's also interesting for me, because I think, I exchanged some emails with Aniel, but it was ages ago. And I think she said that either her partner has Polish even roots. And I was really excited because, there is some Polish names in this book, people. So that doesn't happen too often, because often even when we have the Slavic mention, most often it's from Russian perspective or using Russian names. So it was good to see Dziady or Szeptuchy and so on mentioned in the booklet. So I'm excited, and I'm all for it. All right, so I'm going to change the camera, because I think if you see this, you probably will see it reversed, and I would like you to take a look at the cards and at the book. So let me just change the camera, and I sneak in the review of this deck for you as well. You can take a look, and the deck is ready for purchase, I think, for a while now. You can get onto Magic and Mediums website and take a look at the deck. So let me just change the camera angle. Okay, so what we have here is the Slavic Oracle, as I said, by magicandmediums.com, and this is a 33 card deck, and the guidebook said, you know what I feel about 33 cards. It's bloody hell not enough for me, but I'm still excited, better 33 than none. And each card is inspired by ancient Slavic customs like Dziady, Kupala Night, and Slavic mythology, like the tales of the Wild Witch Baba Yaga. Use of this deck will not only connect you to the powerful energies within Slavic paganism, but remind you of the magic within everyday light. And the illustrations of the deck are created by Cindy Monroy. So it comes with, again, the box, really cool, well done. The booklet that comes with the deck is with color illustrations as well, and it is created in a way, so you've got your regular, introduction, how to use the cards, and what you get with each card, you have 4 possible position meanings. So you've got the blockage position, you've got divination position, reverse position, and action position. And she says here that it's the card meanings read are dependent upon your question. So if you ask a question concerning what obstacles are in the way, you would read the blockage position. If you ask a question concerning what's happening or will happen, you read divination position. If you want to know about reverse position, meaning is the reversed. If you pull the card in reverse, I don't use it, but you can, I read always all the positions because I think all the cards have all the meanings, right? So usually I don't read reversals, and I just use either based on the neighboring cards or based on my own intuition. I like to read all the meanings and then just pick what resonates the most. And action position is what should be done, if you ask what should be done. And I actually really like that action position. So we have some cards layouts, one card and 3 cards. And this is how it looks. So you have the name of the card, which usually looks like that. You have how the card looks. There is a little description. This is description of what's going on the card and of the ritual itself. And then you have the card meanings with keywords, upright and reverse. And then you have those positions. So the blockage, divination, reversed, and action. And it goes for each of the cards. We're going to pull a card at the end and read from the book, so you get a chance to take a look. From what I read from the book, I didn't go through all the cards. I didn't have the deck for that long. But as I said, it has some ritual based on Slavic cultures from different regions. So there's Czech, there's Ukraine, there's Bulgaria, and there's Russia, Poland. It's really fun to see. It doesn't go very much in depth, but it mentions some of the rituals and just gives you a little description of what they are and what they were, and gives you just a little introduction into the Slavic traditions. And that's how the book ends. You have all the cards. There's other books and decks by Magic and Mediums, Aniel Reed, the creator, and the illustrator, Sinri Monroy. So this is the book, and the cards are the backs like this, very beautiful, kind of Slavic backs, right? And we have the illustration, which is, for some people, they art style or not. It's a little bit more kind of comic, childlike, kind of easygoing. I quite like it personally, but I know it's not to everybody's tastes. As with art, you can't please everyone. I enjoy it. So I'm just going to go through all the 33 cards. They're not edged or anything, but the paper is beautiful, lovely colors, and no lamination, but really well protected. You can shuffle it. It's nice. And the card size is, I just take a regular tarot deck, and this is the size of the cards. So a little bit bigger, like oracle cards set. So let's just go through the cards. So we have Harvest, and they use also Polish name Dożynki, which is cool. There is Gender, Fight with Hussar, Love, that's beautiful. You get Sing. Should I make it a little bit brighter? Does it help? No, it doesn't. It makes it glare. There's Mystery, Banish, Ritual, Symbols, Talisman, Death. I love that. Drain. And I spoke to one of my mates and she said oh, she doesn't know, this is a weird keyword. But I actually quite enjoy this drain energy because, sometimes you have an energy vampire, so beware if you are draining to people with, either constant moaning or your problems all the time, or it's all about you all the time, or maybe you are letting yourself to be drained by situations, by people. I quite like this. I think it's really cool. There's courage, persistence, rest. Then we have ancestors, divination, exercise, Slavic yoga, dance, nature, curse, rebirth with Easter eggs. That's still a very traditional and used in Poland as well. Offering, illumination with gromniczna, gromnica, fertility, babuszka, hospitality, healing, housekeeping. That's the little dude that I was like our domownik or ubożęta we had as well, which in Mythologia Fenica, Susanna also had this kind of housekeeping ghost or being, or predator for Baba Yaga. That's a perspective to take. I mean, maybe she was as well, but fate, protection, that's cookeries from Bulgaria, cat, and we're back to harvest. So this is how the cards look. So let's just pick one card and we can read from the book. So hopefully whatever we pick, it's going to be, in a way, a message there hidden for you. All right, dance. Why not? Let's go for it. So in the book, I just go, via alphabet, so alphabetically dance. So it says, move rhythmically to music, typically following a set sequence of steps. The kolo, which I would say koło in Polish, is a circle dance that is popular amongst southern Slavs. Put simply, the steps are to hop while moving laterally. The simplicity of this dance allows for dancers of all skill levels to dance in a round together. Some dancers can add intricate footwork in between beats and show their personality, while the person holding their hand in dance can just perform the simple steps. As long as both dancers stay on beat, the flow of the circle will not be interrupted. Even when one dancer makes a wrong move, the energy contained within the group will push the dancer in the right direction. So as you can see, it's not really, in this particular case, a very particular Slavic custom. Like, I think each culture used to dance and do dances. The kolo, koło, which means round, or the wheel, is part of it, that we used to dance like this a lot, or but it doesn't really go a lot in depth. Still, this is the card that we pulled. So there's keywords, there's reverse, for keywords, upright is click or community, quality, flow, friendship, teamwork, togetherness, music, uplifting music, weddings. Reverse, activists, collective consciousness, commingle, coven, fall, family, ritual, and spin. So reverse positions doesn't necessarily mean that something is negative, just gives you a little bit different type of energy to it. Blockage position, you can sacrifice your ego, pride, and a bit of your individuality to work with others. You may always find yourself alone and jealous of those who are not as independent. Although you may feel as if you can do better on your own, there is joy and pride that comes from working closely with others and being a part of a team. So if something is blocked, right, divination position, once people put aside superficial differences, they can come together and move as one. Countries and communities are forced to do this in order to survive. Now is the time for people to unite for a common cause. You will find that putting aside personal differences only betters your life and enhances all of your relationships. Reverse position, real change can be made when people work together. You will find that you are not alone, and that there are people who not only think like you, but want to work together on actualizing shared dreams. Be careful about who you decide to work with on manifesting your goals, as once you work with someone else, your energies will combine to create something bigger than any of you could imagine. Action position, collaborate. Life isn't meant to be lived alone. So actions are usually very short and sweet, and I like it. If you go into just, I wanted to show you, for example, so here we have with fertility. So she goes a little bit into different names. So Matryoshka, this Babushka. Early pagan Slavs believed that souls were recycled and not created. It makes sense that the dolls depicted as descendants are carbon copies of the dolls before it. And then we have, in order to increase the chances of this reincarnation, Slavs could mate around Dziady. Dziady is the Polish name for, our ancestors, and how do you call it? This death rituals, forgot, the All Saints on November 1st, right? So there's just this interesting mix. And as I said, she doesn't go very deep in the book, but she gives you a little taste of Slavic cultures from all over the Slavic countries. And so that's the deck. This is the Slavic Oracle. And I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching and listening, and I speak to you another time. Bye, guys.